Hi everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, what I'm going to be basically doing is just randomly, aimlessly clicking through ASINs on Keepa and analyzing them, right? And literally just saying to you what I see and whether or not, well, essentially translating all the data that I'm seeing into English, right? Because a lot of people, they'll be on Amazon, they don't know what they're looking at, things that they're looking for, they don't know which listings they need to jump on, or they can jump on based on IP, based on what the trends are looking like, what the data points are looking like. So all I'm going to do in this video is that you sit here and just say out loud what I'm seeing, okay? So I've literally randomly ticked into this fresh lending listing, okay? Straight off the bat, can't sell it because the brand does not match what's actually on the listing. That matches the seller here. This is definitely um, trademarked and enrolled in brand registry. Well, it's even if it's not, I still wouldn't jump on this listing. Okay, so you don't want to jump on a listing like this because you are going to get stung basically with an IP. Again, I can go in and like double verify everything if I want to, but I'm at the point now where I don't need to. This is a red flag. Don't jump on a listing like this. Let's click into, I really got myself into like a rabbit hole of like toothpaste now. Again, same thing, same reason. I wouldn't jump on this listing. That's going to be trademarked by whoever this company is. So if you jump on here, you're going to get kicked off and Amazon's not going to help you basically. Okay, Colgate store. Okay, so what I do here, even though here we have Colgate, which is enrolled in brand registry for this listing, and we can see that this listing is actually monitored slash controlled, what you can do is look down at the Keepa data and see if there's been any massive drops in off accounts. So well, there hasn't been. While this is protected by brand registry and Colgate, there hasn't been any data here that suggests Colgate have issued an IP in the last 378 days. So with a listing like this, the risk is down to you, essentially. It's down to you whether or not you want to take the risk because Colgate can enforce an IP claim on a listing like this, essentially. Let's click into some Calgon. Again, we've got a video, all these images. This is definitely A plus content. This again, this listing is enrolled in brand registry. Has there been any massively sudden drops in off account? Nope. So there's no IP issues there, even though there could be a risk of one. Let's try and find some wholesale listings that aren't just Amazon on, which usually looks like a really poor quality listing, basically. Let's have a look. What can we find? What can we find? Well, let's look in the historical data here and see. Oh, there we go. We had an FBA seller there somewhere. Let's click into Nova Sales Wholesale. Let's have a look through these listings. So what am I seeing with a listing like this? Again, this is a brand registry. Can we sell it? Yes, there's been no sudden drops in off account. However, what's the data actually look like here? As you can see, Amazon have been on the listing for virtually like since this listing's been up and running. However, for whatever reason, in August, Amazon have come off the listing. So again, like let's say if you're looking at this on, let's say, a month chart, you are not going to know Amazon used to be on this listing and be absolutely dominant. And when you look at this picture, it paints a completely different picture of the listing. So on a listing like this, it's down to you whether or not you want to essentially take the risk of Amazon jumping back onto a listing like this, if that makes sense. Because by the looks of it, they literally dominated this buy box. But yeah, so that's a risk for you to consider in a case like this. And obviously, I'm not touching on profitability because obviously we don't really buy prices for these listings or whatnot. I'm just telling you about the data here, which is something for you to think about. Again, like once you understand Keepa, you'll be able to spot these trends. Like for example, here the buy box was lost, therefore the sales rank increased because obviously when there's no buy box, there was no offers. That's why there was no buy box there. So obviously when there's no offers, the sales rank's going to increase because it's selling less. As you can see here, by the sales rank increasing when the offers come out of stock. And at the same time, we can see the yellow line, which is a monthly sold, decrease. So that is a perfect example of how all the data works together, essentially there. So all these data points intertwine. And it's important you understand how they intertwine and why they intertwine. So when it comes to wholesale, the purchasing decisions that you make are much more better or are much more accurate and better because we're essentially better able to predict how listings will perform because we know how to read these trends and read these data points essentially. So something else I'm just checking, yeah. So what do I notice about a listing like this? Again, Amazon come off the listing and it's now FBA. Like a listing like this, £5, you're gonna need to be buying this for absolutely pennies if you're gonna make any money on a listing like this. However, yeah, there's also a lot of offers on this listing as well, and there's been a huge spike here. Now, in my experience, stuff like this usually, but I shouldn't even say my experience, but I don't do OA. But like this just looks like an OA lead's been just smashed out. So let's go on to the next one. Again, something like this, I'll just ignore because that's private label very clearly. Or this is a brand that has control over the listing, basically. Let's have a look here. See what's going on here. Again, like this is Amazon absolutely having a field day with this. Let's have a look at the data, vital statistics. Again, you don't need to look at this because you can literally see it on the other graph. Let's have a look. There we go. Actually, to be fair, on a 30 days, it says Amazon's only been 11%. Let's double check that month. There we go. So for whatever reason, Amazon has been sat above the buy box. However, we've got data here um, to suggest that obviously historically they've been pretty competitive, to say the least. For whatever reason, they've started to spike their price points. You can go in and have a look at their. Let's have a look. One sec. Let's go in and have a further look. Yeah, and then for some reason they're just not claiming the buy box for whatever reason. Let's have a look at their stock levels if it gives us an inkling there. Where are we? Amazon. No, no real inkling there. This is just Amazon's algorithm being Amazon's algorithm. Basically, this is quite a fast-moving listing. So obviously, if it's selling more than 5,000 times a month, they maybe might not have enough stock to forecast how much days coverage that they want. Let's say they want 2 weeks worth of stock in Amazon at all times. Maybe they've decided, or the algorithms decided, hey, let's increase the price point so we remain on the listing. Amazon always prefer that, by the way. Even as sellers, like if you're running out of stock, increase your price point because Amazon prefer that. So when you do jump on back on the listing, you get buy box priority. It's a little tip for you guys as well. Again, this seller looks very much like an OA seller just because of the type of listings that they're jumping on. Like for example, all of these are enrolled in brand registry and the offer counts are through the roof. Yeah, like look here, 51 offers. And now it's coming back down. But yeah, it's quite funny because their store name's got the word wholesaling. However, this don't look like wholesale to me. Uh, let's have a look at let's not this. Let me pull this up. Again, Amazon on the listing. However, okay, this is something you can do. Like with some fast moving listings, you can look at the data and be like, hang on a second, Amazon might be on the listing, have them on the buy box, right? Very similar to the last listing that was selling 5,000 times a month. And you can just, let's say, send in 1,000 units and be like, okay, as long as I've got 20% share of the buy box over the course of the month, I'm going to sell out 1,000 units because Amazon decided to increase their price point, for example. And then those 1,000 units at pound profit per unit, that's £1,000, right? On a listing that typically other sellers won't jump on. But again, bang, this looks very OA to me. And the trend that's going to happen now is offer count going up, price point going down. As you can see, the price point is slowly going to start to diminish, into literally break even. which is the issue with a lot of OA, to be honest with you. Let's look at this listing. So we got a video, A plus content. This is enrolled in brand registry. Again, Amazon's on it. So clearly this brand wants some element of control of their presence on Amazon. See, like listings like this, which haven't been like overly saturated, so to say, and have just started selling. Look, it's gone from literally 40, 50 to 100. This brand could well and truly just contact Amazon and say, look, we want to double check like the authenticity of all these sellers on this listing. And then if you've got all these people who have bought via, let's say, a or bought via, let's say, an online deal and they can't provide invoices, they're all done basically. Like even though there's never been an IP claim in the past, look, we can't see any massive like drops in off account. A listing like this, you can get hit with an IP just because the brand might look at this and be like, hang on a second, we've got 20 sellers on this listing. Is it legit? Like, is the stock that they're holding legit? Let's check it. And then that's when you'll get hit with an IP and you won't be able to prove it, which is obviously an issue for those that do Amazon. I mean, online arbitrage. Because you'll be like, why have they IP'd us? It's because when you actually look at the data, it makes sense. Because if the listing's hardly selling and there's 5 sellers on the listing, they ain't gonna bother. But if the listings start to increase, like we've just seen, and the number of sellers have literally quadrupled, they're gonna obviously be like, hang on a second, we've got our products going out to customers. We don't want a bad name for ourselves. We want to make sure this stock's legit. Basically, again, this seller's just selling like a lot of, let's have a look, listings which are just, they're just literally, so that this looks to me again, look, the sellers are increasing very away, whereby they're jumping on these listings which Amazon are on and just getting whatever fair shelf sales they want. Again, you can do that with OA because you're not aiming to replenish these ASINs. You can buy 10, 20, 30 units. We're like, okay, let me just stick it there because I know Amazon coming in and out of stock and it's a fast moving listing. So when I have the buy box, my stock's going to sell within 2 days, bang. So again, that looks to be the model of this seller. Like, for example, this is why it's important to have an ability to analyze these listings and read data, because then you'll understand how your competitors behave, how they're repriced, what their models are, like their repricing systems are, what their business models, how their businesses are set up, essentially, what their business model is. And why is that important? Because when you're jumping on these listings with these competitors, you can better predict how they behave, which will then enable you, in turn, to make better purchasing decisions. I hope that makes sense. Uh, Okay, let's just pick a different storefront because all these listings are literally looking the same. Let's pick a different storefront. But yeah, I thought this video would be useful. Literally just showing you what you have to look at, basically. Because there's a lot of people out there who will, let's say, just see, oh, there's an like seller amp saying this listing's got an IP issue. Well, that means nothing because seller could be saying that because there's one seller on the listing doesn't mean there's an IP issue there. That's just like the data seller pulling. Like that's why I literally, you need to get to a point whereby you can look at a listing and be like, okay, I'm not going to get IP'd on this. And that's so doable, right? It's not hard. You just need to know what you are looking at, basically. So this person's very clearly rinsing Protan. Right, so maybe they've got an account direct with Protan, or maybe they've got a decent relationship with an authorized distributor of Protan. But yeah, what can I see in a listing like this? Obviously, a listing like this will have seasonality. There we go, bang, sales rank up, bang, back down, up, back down. It's so funny as well. Once you understand how to read these listings, as the sales ranks increase, the number of sellers drop off because obviously, like for example, let's say we take this. Right? Sales rank goes up, it starts selling less because obviously people know it's stock seasonal. And basically, essentially as well, the stock starts flying, it starts selling too quick. Everyone's forecasted wrong. So they start running out of stock. Offer count goes down. And obviously at the same time, it goes out of season. So the sales rank goes up because obviously there's less people buying it and there's less people selling it. So there's less um, you see here there's less people selling it, and also it's because it's going out of season, which is obviously why it sells less, right? Um, because it's going out of season. And these people understand that, which is why they have literally got all their sales and gone. But you got that unfortunate few who have obviously overbought, which is why they have stock out of season. But yeah, like for example, what you want to be able to do is on listings like these is understand that, okay, hang on a second, I'm looking at this, that is seasonal, the sales rank spikes at certain times of year, as does the number of offers, because obviously as it sells more, more people want to sell on that listing essentially. Like let's say we know tan is like seasonal, but you need to be able to spot this trend regardless, because there are some products out there which are seasonal, however, you just won't know that they're seasonal. Like I've had products in the past which I've looked at, I'm like, why is this trend like this? But then you realize, hang on a second, it's a seasonal trend. For whatever reason, certain products do well at different times of year. Random products as well, by the way. Let's have a look at this. Tan shot. Now, something you can do, like for example, here we've got tan shot, right? It's like something like this. Like this listing has been active for 2,977 days and it's never sold well in the past, right? However, a drop of the buy box from 17 quid to 13 quid has, let's have a look here. It's not only a drop of the buy box, it's also it coming in season. However, the listings never ever, okay, that's why home and kitchen, beauty, there we go. It was listed under the wrong category. That makes sense. It gets listed in the right category, bang, comes in season. It was in season there. So it's a combination of A, it being listed in the right category, and B, the price point, going to a price point that obviously customers deem fair. Now, how can we determine this? Well, you can't. What the movement of this listing is now attributed to, it must be other listings in the market. Like, let's say when someone types in tanning drinks, right? Let's say at 70 quid that no one was buying it because of those better offers. But now we're like, okay, hang on a second. 12 quid, that's very, very valuable. More people just start buying it. Very, very simple. So it's not only the fact that this was in the wrong category at first, it was also the fact that it was priced too high. Okay, so that's like a double whammy, right? And again, this listing is seasonal. So that's the things you need to be looking at when it comes to analyzing these listings, right? It's getting an understanding of, okay, if it goes back to like 17 quid, data suggests it's not going to move that well, basically. How well it will move when it's in season, we don't know because there's literally no data here in season at 17 quid, if that makes sense. So don't think, oh, I'm going to list. Oh, so this is a mistake sellers will make. They'll be like, oh, I can sell this at £17 and it'll sell 300 times a month. No, it will sell 300 times a month, 400 times a month in season, priced at 14 quid. Okay. You got to look at the representative offer, the price point, the fulfillment type, the time of year, all of these data points, the number of offers as well, and the trends that are going along with that listing at that certain time. So I'm going to stop there because I can keep doing and keep going and keep going this. I'm going to keep spotting different trends, different data points doing different things, different sellers doing different things, different products behaving in different ways. It's all down to your ability to read the data. There's no given like script for stuff like this. Like I can't say, check this, check this, check this. It's not that simple. You've got to have a high level ability to analyze these listings, spot these trends, read the data. So as wholesale sellers, when you are investing thousands of pounds, when you are buying thousands of units at a time for particular ASINs, you've got to know essentially as well or as accurately as you can how these listings will perform when you jump on them. And the only way you can do that is by mastering the art of analysis. Okay. So I hope this video was useful. If you want more videos like this, let me know. Either commentate or send me a DM on Instagram at HFBA. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe if you are new here. And if you want any help with wholesale, link in the description to see if you'd be a good fit for my program. However, I will catch you in the next video. And yeah, like the video if you like the video. Leave any comments down below of any videos you want to see. Make sure you subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.